Don't worry, this is still an X-Plane flying video, even though it might not look like it right now. I'll explain that in a minute, but for now, back to a plane and let's take off from here where we're leaving, which is NZTT to Kuiti airfield, which did have quite a big upgrade recently, and that's in the North Island upgrades package and upload thing that I did, if you want to check out that video. Not long after I'd started scenery making, there was somebody who lives fairly local to here got in contact with me with a message at the org forum to ask if I was ever going to do this place. We exchanged a few messages, and he even came down here and took some photos for me and put together something which wasn't too bad, but bear in mind that was back before I could make my own objects and buildings. I was still very inexperienced at scenery then, but it was okay for the time. But since then quite a lot has changed here. There's a number of buildings and hangars have gone, some new hangars have shown up, things like this taxiway that we're on right now, that's all brand new. So the layout of the place has changed quite a lot, which was hence this fairly major upgrade, and it now looks a lot more like how it does at the moment. It's not too bad at all. We're just going to wait here because the X-Plane map is showing we've got an incoming aircraft. Bear with me, it's out there somewhere. Oh yeah, I think I can see it. Zoom in. Ah yeah, look, Cessna 152 or something in them. Yeah, I think I mentioned in one of the previous videos I've now got Traffic Global. This is one of the Traffic Global aircraft on the way in. As far as Traffic Global goes, it has issues. The animations are not great. Planes are a bit jerky in flight. They don't taxi very smoothly. The propeller animations are not great. And they don't land, they just plop onto the ground. Like that. A big cloud of tyre smoke as well. So, yeah, it's not brilliant, must admit. There's certainly issues with this as a piece of software, but I kind of like having it now. Just checking, yeah, he's leaving the runway, isn't he? Yeah, that'll do. Okay, let's get ourselves up into the air. Good. So yeah, Traffic Global is far from perfect. Yeah, there's the animation thing, but also something I'd love it if they could change things is Traffic Global aircraft don't appear to interact with any ATC or even notice that I exist half the time. I did try a landing into Auckland in a smaller GA aircraft and had a big passenger jet fly straight through me on final. So you kind of have to be your own ATC and just watch on the map and sort of filter yourself into a gap somewhere. So it's not perfect, but it's kind of like, to me, one of those things that when I very first started with X-Plane 11, the default terrain was great, so why would I need to fill my hard drive with lots of ortho? And then I tried ortho, and there's no way I'm ever going back to not using ortho. And in the same way, now I've tried Traffic Global and have got some AI planes flying around, there's no way I'd really want to go back to being the only person up here again. You know, I was the only aircraft in X-Plane 11, but the kind of places that I enjoy making most and also flying to when I'm just flying for pleasure, they're the smaller little rural airfields where me being the only plane that's moving, that didn't really seem lacking in any way, because in real life those smaller places, they don't get that many movements. Probably sometimes none in a day. New Zealand, the land of the long white cloud. It's quite a long white cloud, isn't it? So yeah, I've never really missed not having it, aircraft in X-Plane 11. But now I've tried it with 12. I've not put taxi routes and everything into all of the airfields that I've done, but I have with some of them, and now I get things like that landing 152 to Kuiti, and it's kind of nice. It's better than not having it. So would I recommend it? Probably not, but I'm not going to get rid of it myself. I know the other sort of competitor of World Traffic, apparently that does have a fairly basic ATC, so you don't get the running into each other problem, apparently. But on the other hand, I could be wrong with this, but I believe Traffic Global does a lot better job with general aviation traffic and the flight plans for that. And it just generates a load of random flight plans for smaller aeroplanes, and away you go. And as I fly to those smaller places, it's the smaller GA aircraft, that's the ones that I want in my sim, because I don't often go to places where seeing a 737 is going to be a thing that would happen. But anyway, so the start of the video and the golf shot. A few weeks ago I got myself the golf game PGA 2K23. Now a friend of mine's already got it, and he sort of was recommending it. Another friend said he's going to get a copy too, and I have, so the eventual idea is the three of us can have an online game of golf together. But got the game and noticed there's a course designer part in there, and as I'm sure you know, I quite like making stuff, so I'm straight into that, and it's quite nice. It's also quite annoying because now I'm making stuff for 2 games. There's things that the PGA designer can do that I really wish X-Plane could do, and predominantly that's shaping and flattening terrain. The stuff that X-Plane does that I wish I could do that in PGA as well. So it's slightly annoying having a foot in both camps, as there's things that I wish I could do in one that you can't do in you can or can't do in the other, but it's not too bad. The PGA game is very lacking in libraries and the amount of the choice of things that you can use. You can't make your own or anything like that either, so you kind of just stock with what you've got. And there's even a limit on that, which is a bit weird, because I don't know the exact numbers, but it's kind of like it gives you a load of items that you can put in a golf course, but then you can only use 50% of them or 60% of them or something. It's got a memory on how many different items you can use, and also a memory cap on the total amount of items that you can use. So you do have to be a little bit creative with the PGA designer, but I like to think I am quite creative anyway, and have an understanding of aesthetics and especially with the smaller little things. It's like, say, planting one single bush in a certain place. You probably wouldn't even notice that bush. You'll never look at it directly in your life. But it being there just silently adds a little something to the ambience of the whole look and scenery as a whole. Excuse me. So yeah, people upload their golf courses, and I think I'm probably in the same bracket with the PGA game as I am with X-Plane. When you look at airport scenery, there's people who make stuff that's way better than I ever have, ever could, or ever will do. There are people who are brilliant and a lot better than me. But looking at all the stuff that gets uploaded at xplane.org, I'm still a lot better than quite a lot of people. And having played a few user-created golf courses, I think it seems a similar kind of thing, where there are people who make brilliant golf courses, stuff that's much better than I'm ever going to do, but my stuff, it's still better than a lot of the people that uploads things there. Although when I say my stuff, I did one golf course which wasn't great, and kind of learning techniques and things as I went along. But the second one, I think it's quite nice. So the reason I'm telling you this is there will be an occasional golf video pop up on the channel now. Not going to be very many. It's still largely going to be X-Plane content here. The golf stuff, there's never going to be enough videos to ever warrant starting a separate channel for that. It might just be the very occasional times when I make a new golf course. I can publicise that. And I'm sure I'm not the only person in the world who has X-Plane and PGA 2K23, so you never know, maybe a golfer finds out about New Zealand scenery which he never knew about before, or perhaps an aviator finds a new golf course that they might enjoy playing. It could be useful. So there's not going to be many, but as I said, there will now be an occasional golf video pop up, and if it's not your thing, no need to watch. Just have a look or don't as it interests you. Most of the things still will be X-Plane stuff here, but that's it. So where we're going, where we're descending to right now, by the way, is XNZMAU Mahoenui, which is a brand new place that came with the North Island upgrades, and it's actually 3 separate little airfields. They're all close enough where I just decided to dump them into one package. So the 2 closest ones to us here, I'll just do a touch and go, and then actually land at the 3rd one. This is the first one coming up right here. Oh, my mouse. The mouse that broke recently. Opened it up to have a look, and the axle part on the scroll wheel that had actually snapped off, so it's not really repairable. So it's only a cheap one. I've had it for years, so can't complain about value for money, so no dramas. It's a place not too far from me, so I went down there to get a new mouse, and after a couple of days with the new one, there's a button on the side that's sort of square and the corners are not that well rounded off, so it sort of digs into your thumb a little bit. It's much heavier than the old mouse was. I could drag that around with my little finger dead easy, but this one needs a bit more force to drag it around, and all these little things sort of built up, and no, don't really like this. I much preferred the older one. I'm just not getting on with this new mouse at all. So I managed to dig the old one back out of the bin to get the serial number off it, and looked that up on the internet. And it is quite old now, they don't make them anymore, but I finally managed to find one for sale on eBay from a private seller. Brilliant, buy that, get myself my old mouse back again. So did that, it took a couple of days to arrive, and excitedly unwrapped the package, plugged it in, sat in front of the computer, and thought, I've kind of got used to this other one that I bought now, and now this new copy of my old mouse, that feels weird, feels too light, and so I swapped them back again. I'm now back on the heavier mouse that I bought, which I didn't like originally, but now I do like because I've got used to it. So yeah, the eBay one, it was only £10. Translate that to your own currency, but yeah, it's not massively expensive, so such is life. But yeah, that was a waste of £10 because well, I suppose look on the bright side, I've now got a spare mouse. Just in case you were wondering with that one, or even noticed, if you look on the satellite images, the runway is actually curved. Just a slight curve all the way through it. Not sure if that's a little anomaly with the satellite image or whether it actually looks like that, but that's the picture I got, so there you go, that's what we've now got in the sim, a slightly curved runway. The fence either side is wide enough where you could dead easily land in a straight line anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And up ahead now, that's the third and final one, which I think is probably the best out of the three, although it's not particularly a high bar. None of these three are going to win any airport design contests. There's not a lot here. There's a bit of artistic license gone into things as well. It wouldn't surprise me if in real life this was just nothing more than a field. I've tried to make them look vaguely interesting, somewhere that you might want to land. Probably not that often, but yeah, that seemed okay. Fairly smooth landing, I think. We'll have a look at that again. Certainly felt like it was one of the better ones. Yeah, it's okay, wasn't it? Yeah, not going to call it brilliant, but that was alright. Okay then, let's turn around and go and park up by the hangar. That may not actually be a hangar, no idea. As I said, a bit of artistic license. I'll park up there and that will do for this video. Next we'll get back to a bush flying video again for the next one, where I'm sure the landing won't be quite as good. Or actually, I might do a golf course one before we get to the bush flying one again, but the bush flying one will be along fairly soon. For now, we'll just park up here by Joe and Dean, and yeah, Joe needs a lift. Recently his wife said he should get in touch with his feminine side, so he crashed the car. Okay then, yeah, I'll see you again soon.